sports dads. Okay, let's go through some of those. Okay, you got Tiger's dad. Okay, you got LeVar Ball. You got the Manning's father, who's got two boys Archie Manning, who's got two boys with 2 Super Bowls each, which is insane, right?
Yep.
You got King Richard. You got Emmanuel Agassi. You got a lot of these stories, right?
MJ's dad.
MJ's dad, yeah, but okay, fine, you can put MJ's dad there as well. All these stories with these dads. So then the question becomes the following. You know how when I talk to investors, I say, what's most important? The entrepreneur, the talent in the entrepreneur's team, the idea, the technology, what's most important, right? Or you'll ask, hey, Tom Penn, who was a GM for the Philadelphia 76, I think he was GM, and then he went to ESPN. So what's most important? The ownership team, a great coach, a superstar player, or a great GM, right? You ask these questions. Yeah. Okay. In these specific examples, Williams, okay, Agassi, Manning's, all this stuff, who gets the bigger percentage of success? Okay, and I know this is the last thing you want to be pressured to talk about, because
I think it's
what percentage is parents? What percentage is kids?
No, it's to me the biggest percentage is always the parents. You got to remember, this is a
I agree. And by the way, how big of a percentage? By the way,
it could be well over 75%.
I agree.
This is the genetics. Listen, the genetics. I'll say it again. I've never had anybody come to me and the parent did nothing and the other parent did nothing and the kid became a world-class athlete. I've just never seen it in my sport.
Can you repeat that, folks? So some people ask me and they say, why do you bring somebody who's a tennis coach? We never talk tennis here. I'm a parent, and I only bring people here to my show that I'm interested in, not you're interested in. This is called the PBD podcast because I want to learn on how to become a full, complete package, better human being, and a leader. Okay? Listen to what he just said. I judge myself kind of like, people ask me, oh, my God, Pat, you're so impressive. I'm like, dude, you don't know my dad. You give me way too much credit. My dad raised the damn standards on work ethic, and if you say you're going to do something, you do it in honesty and all this stuff. I get way too much credit. You should give more credit to my dad. 80% of the credit should be to my dad on how he raised me, how he challenged me, how it was never enough. It was so freaking annoying sometimes, right? And then and obviously dad and mom played a different role as well. But it's such an important dynamic on what you just said. Can you repeat that sentence one more time? You've never seen
No, I've never seen someone become a world-class player, okay, in my sport, that the mom or dad didn't do something in sports, with the genetics, like whether they played high-level college or high school, or maybe the family tree. It could be a grandfather who was an Olympic sprinter, or a Russian who was a swimmer. So there has to be something. I've never seen it ever. Okay,
but you're saying physically genetics. Are you also saying how they interact with their child?
Physically. Now the mental part. Okay, because remember, if they're with Rick Macy or whoever, they're with me X amount of time a day. The rest of the time, when you go home and close that door, you're with family. You don't know what's percolating. You don't know what life lessons are going into that kid's head, how they're wired. It's major league. To me, it's the most important. That's why, once again, you asked me about American tennis. And listen, I'm not throwing a net out there over the whole country or everybody. You're always going to have those flyers. But at the end of the day, the Eastern Europeans, you got people, they're rougher, they're tougher. It's like when I saw Serena. She was like a little pit bull. Once she got a hold of you, she wasn't going to let go. And I just said, I got to get this kid strokes and a serve. And so that's and that's half the battle. How you're going to handle, and how you're going to compete. And you can teach that and nurture it, and I do that. Yeah. But it's hard to rewire things that have been put in these kids' head.
So you know how the story of what's that one movie with Russell Crowe, The Beautiful Mind, where you go into that one place that he has, and it's got all these formulas. Like, what the hell is in this guy's mind? What does he think about? Or even Greg Kading, who found who killed Tupac and Biggie, and he's got this whole report of names there. In even the American Gangster, where there's this one scene where it's like, who is the drug dealer behind everything? And it's Denzel Washington. It's typically when you see like somebody, performing at a high level, somebody in that lineage raised the standards, was tough, was a son of a bitch, was difficult, was challenging. Nothing was ever enough. And Papa, like when Agassi tells a story, with my dad, nothing was ever enough. I don't know if you know his story is a different story as well. It's almost like, yeah, buddy, but you would have never married Graf if that wasn't your dad. You would have never met her. You would have never been a champion if I wasn't. I totally get it. Frustrating. Totally get it. I get that. Fully understand it. But it's almost like, Mike talked about it in The Last Dance where he says when you're going through it, it's so difficult. When my dad was, this is what Michael says in The Last Dance. Do you remember that one scene when he says, hey, Michael, why don't you go play outside? Yeah, you're just not, let me and your brother do what they're doing. He says, in that moment, it drove me. It was so difficult to go through it. But he made it through, and look what level of a champion he became. He becomes mentally and emotionally tough to be able to handle all this pressure. So I don't know. I think the part that you talk about, that people are raising more soft people today, and parents is like, oh my gosh, you okay? Oh my gosh, you okay? Oh my gosh, you okay? I don't know a lot of, oh my gosh, you're okay growing up, as a kid. So listen, some people today will call that terrible parenting. Rick, how dare you say such a thing? You're not empathetic. You're not compassionate. You don't understand what it is. So all this stuff that you talk about, but the percentage of making it to the top level, take Elon Musk's dad away, and his dad doesn't say what he says to him. Does Elon Musk become who he is today? I don't know about that.
Do you have another Tiger Woods ever? Tiger Woods won the 2007 U.S. Open with a broken knee. Unbelievable.
That's a rare specimen right there with his dad. Did you watch his documentary?
Well, and he said Phil Mickelson is a better player than he is, right? But he didn't have the work ethic that Earl Woods instilled in Tiger Woods.
That killer instinct. Did you watch the documentary?
Parts of it.
Have you watched the documentary?
Like half of it.
I highly recommend you watch the whole thing. Did you get it?
No, I did not.
I'm telling you guys, so here's the mistake I made. One night I started watching at 10:30, and it's 3 hours. I'm going to watch it today, and I'm going to finish the next 3 nights. I stayed up to 2 o'clock in the morning. I watched part 1 and part 2. It's that ridiculous. That's why I'm a big fan of Tiger. I mean, even all the stuff that he has, I'm just a fan of Tiger. I'm a fan of people that are willing to tolerate that much pain.
Yeah.
It is so difficult to become a Williams.
Yeah.
It is so difficult to win at that level.
Well, Pat, let me ask you, because you started the conversation or this question with, are kids conditioned these days and the phobia these days? And obviously you transitioned to, you wouldn't be who you were without what your dad did, right? And he's a coach.
If God would have chosen somebody else as my dad, you don't know who I am.
My question to you is then, Pat, as a father, you told the story a couple podcasts ago about you went up to, I think, Dylan's coach, and you were like, no, you could be hard on him. That's fine.
Yeah.
You told that story.
Yeah.
But you're seeing what kids are dealing with these days, everything that Rick just said about social media and, the phobias. How are you taking this information and becoming a better dad to your kids in today's generation?
So he made a very good point in sales. I made a mistake early on of driving everybody the same way, because I drove this one guy this one way, and it worked with him. And I said, this is going to work with everybody. He hated it. She couldn't handle it. He quit. Like, what happened? How come you can't be like this person? Well, they're different personalities. You can't drive everybody the same way, right? One needs more encouragement. The other one needs to say, well, I think that guy's woke up an hour before you, made 100 more calls than you. That worked with him, but it discouraged this one. Then the other one was good with the selfish desires. He wants the big house, the accolades, the fame, all that stuff. But this other one could give a shit about all that stuff. This one wants to do it for mom and dad to make them proud. That other person loves America and his country. He wants to do something to give back to the country that gave him his freedom. And this other guy's from El Salvador. He loves his country, but he came here. He can't stand the fact that what happened to El Salvador. He wants to make money to one day go back and be in office in El Salvador. That person's driven in a different way. So not everybody's driven the same way. So with my kids, I asked them a question earlier about different ways of coaching. Like, what your kids need when they're younger is just for them to love the game. Then the next phase is what your kids need at this age is more fundamentals, right? Like learning, perfect practice makes perfect, not practice makes perfect. They have to add the perfect practice makes perfect. Okay, so now they need to learn the fundamentals the right way. Like, I'm not teaching Tico how to throw the ball. I'm the wrong guy to teach you how to throw the ball. You can teach them how to throw the ball better than I can teach them how to throw the ball, right? Because you're an athlete. I was not, right? So now it's getting the fundamental people around them and to also like the game. A little bit of competition, a little bit of pressure. Then the real pressure is showing up when you're getting at the 10 to 14 age. You're kind of seeing a little bit, can they handle it or not? You need a little bit more support, all this stuff to watch them. I don't know. I just watch to see we're all different. And with the kids yesterday, we're playing baseball outside. Dylan wants to go 45 more minutes. Let me hit 5 more balls. Let me hit 5 more balls. Let me hit 5 more. No, that wasn't long enough. 5 more. I'm like, at this point, we missed church yesterday. We missed church yesterday because of Dylan.
Well, I'm disappointed, man.
So I'm like, 5 more balls. I know I missed you.
You want that passion. I mean, that's gold right there. You're not pushing. No. That's from within.
Yeah. But my oldest said, Daddy, I want to go inside and draw more movie characters.
See you later.
But the point is, his see you later is Hollywood and movies, storytelling. It's not baseball. So I'm trying to, as a parent, like your daughters, they don't want to play tennis, but they crush it in gymnastics. It's that you not getting in the way of what is their strength, and yet still having to teach them mental and emotional toughness no matter what game they play. So my son's like, I said, I don't like baseball. Why don't you like baseball? He had one very bad moment in baseball. It's private between him and I. And so I whispered to him, I said, come here. Is that why? And he kind of looks away. So that's why, isn't it? Because that one moment? Yeah. I said, that's between you and I. He says, but I don't like baseball. I said, do you not like baseball? Or do you not like it because it links to a painful moment? I said, what are you going to do when you make a movie one day and everybody says it's a terrible movie? How are you going to handle that?
Good point.
What are you going to? You think this thing is a baseball thing? This is a life thing, baby. This is everything we do. We do podcasts. It's just the shittiest podcast ever. Then the next podcast. This is the best podcast ever. Then the next podcast. You guys suck. 2 podcasts later. This is the greatest. They're going to be the biggest. It's such a bipolar thing that you got to be able to manage it.
No, you got to be able to. You got to be able to take up.
That parents need to be more than anything psychiatrists, not coaches, right?
Yeah, psychologists. They got
psychologists.
Yeah, but let me just go back to something you said earlier about the coaching part, because I think this is important. Okay, I can have a kid who's dead tired, okay, and they can't go anymore, and I might say, okay, we're going to do a 20-ball suicide where I just run them side to side, okay, and they get to 18 and they just can't go anymore, and all of a sudden I say, $20, you get this ball, and let me tell you something. There's turbo inside the kid that I've never seen before. Or if I say, I'll give you a hoodie, like the one I have on, or you get a Gatorade, or I give you $5, or water.
Capitalism.
Okay, here's what happens. When there's grades or there's rewards, I don't care how tired you are, you could be throwing up. Okay, I always have the quote, one more, as in W-O-N, okay? And this is what I do with everybody, okay? I get them to push boundaries, challenge their limits, not limit their challenges. And so it's amazing. The water ball, if I say water ball, okay, out of nowhere, you got like Usain Bolt. You know, you just got this lightning. The kid's like dragon, whatever, because the mind controls the body, okay? And, you know, I talk to him about Navy SEALs. I talk to him about all these type of things, and I give situations.
I love that.
When I say water ball, all the parents, like, they just laugh because 98% of the kids, all of a sudden it's like they just run like you have no idea. Where before, they're letting the mind control the body. Or if I put kids together and they could be dead tired and we play tag in an area, okay, all of a sudden they're not tired anymore. They're shaking and baking, they're juking, they're bobbing, they're weaving. They're running all over the place, even though they're dead tired because of one word, fun. When it's fun, okay, you are not tired anymore, whether it's business, I'm just telling you, and this is how it comes across in the movie. So do I do things differently? I feel the temperature, okay, and I react accordingly because I keep balls and strikes on every lessons. You got to get better or you're getting worse.
If you enjoyed this short clip, click over here to watch another short clip. And if you want to watch the entire episode, the entire podcast, click here.